Good afternoon, and welcome to Expose Yourself to Art, a show that explores the creative process by inviting artists to join us in a chat about their life and their work. My name is David Schrader, and with me, as always, or at least most of the time, when she's not off being creative herself, is Linda Scheller. So come on in, Linda. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, David.
Yeah, it's nice to have you with me today.
It's good to be here, always.
Yeah, well, you have all these other wonderful creative interests, so sometimes I'm always pleased when you're here, and yeah, so today is one of those special days. So anyway, our guest today, Barbara Alvarado, what do you know about her? What are we going to say?
Well, as a child, Barbara Alvarado was always found with a pencil, pen, or paint creating a new project. When she went to college, she studied early childhood education, but found she could still take art classes and ended up with more than 25 college-level classes in art. In 2006, Barbara and her sister began attending art therapy sessions at the Mislin for cancer patients, friends, family, and caregivers. And that's how the idea began for Dragonfly Art for Life, which was opened in 2018. She is paired with Patrick Barr, who began teaching in 2019, and they partnered up to run the business together as co-owners. He has formal training in the arts from the Academy of Arts in San Francisco and also worked as an animator for Disney in Florida. They have offered in Dragonfly Art for Life sewing classes. In addition to art, they work with local school districts, Girl Scouts. They offer team building activities for companies and private birthday parties and events. They've opened up the space for yoga once a week and have summer programs and after-school programs in a variety of media. Also, they do Friday night paint nights and have live music in the studio. As an early childhood educator, Barbara always wanted this space to be family-friendly, where children were welcome. And during the pandemic, like so many other places, Dragonfly Art for Life had to temporarily shut down. And during that time, Barbara took courses on nonprofit management and created the Dragonfly Art and Wellness Center, a nonprofit dedicated to serving the community in healing through the arts. So I'm so pleased to welcome Barbara Alvarado.
Well, let's bring her in. Here she is. Hello, Barbara. Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, let's put you in the major seat here. There you are. Okay. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the Dragonfly is a fairly new facility, arts gallery, studio space in our community. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. But let's go back. So where did it all start for you? Where did this interest in art come from?
I think my whole life I've always been interested in art. I grew up wanting to be an artist, an animator, to go to art school, that kind of thing. My parents were born during the Depression, and so to go to college for art was a no-go for them.
Really?
Yeah, so it was something I always kind of kept on the side, something I like to do, a hobby, that kind of thing. And then
whoa, you have to introduce us to your friend here. Sorry to interrupt.
Yo, that's fine. He's not going to go without some attention here. This is Batman, and Batman was a foster, what can I say? He was a foster kitty for us. He's a foster fail, my first fail. I have others past that because, of course, I was supposed to give him away and I kept him. So, but he was raised here in the studio. So we were here all day, and I had a friend say, look, he's too little and he needs to be bottle fed, and they're going to put him down if somebody doesn't take him. And so I said, well, I'm here all day. I think I can bottle feed a kitten. I've done it before. And so during that time, we have had numerous batches that haven't always been a fail. They found homes, and but he was my first.
Okay.
So that's Batman. He loves to watch watercolor, and if he's at home with us and the TV goes to a YouTube tutorial on any kind of paint, he is right in the middle of the screen watching every move they make.
Wonderful. Glad to have him.
Yeah.
So back to your beginnings. Your history sounds like the history of a lot of people in the arts, which is, as a friend of mine at Michelin said, I don't know if you know Tony Pooler. He said, I've been involved in the arts my whole life, except for the 50 years I took off to earn a living. So,
Right.
so you too knew you were interested in the arts.
Yes.
Right. But then reality intrudes. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We need to pay the bills and get things done.
Sure.
So.
And I believe I heard with Linda reading your bio that you took, in spite of that, you took some art in college. Yeah.
I did. There was, I would go to school semester after semester, and I would take my history and my English and my early childhood, and I would take art and my history and my English and my science and art. So I always managed to get at least one art class in all of it.
Yeah. Was there any particular art form that you liked?
I tend to gravitate towards watercolor. I love watercolor, and I love colored pencil. I like colored pencil, and I enjoy pastels also.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
there's.
I'm sorry. You were going to say something.
No.
No. Okay. So, but the big change, it sounds like, came when you and your sister attended this workshop at Michelin Gallery.
It did. Yeah. She had cancer, and as part of a recovery, and this was in the beginning when they had first started the program, they invited her and family friend or caregiver to join her for art, and it was 3 hours on a Tuesday night, just once a week. And I would go with her, and I hadn't been playing with art that much because I was busy with life, right? And I loved the program. I just fell in love with the program. It was so healing for me. And I wasn't someone with cancer. And I found it to be every bit as valuable as it was for her. And I lived for those days to go to the studio and to create and to work with other people, because if you're not taking a class in art, you don't get that studio experience, and working at home alone wasn't the same either. And so I just kept thinking, when we talk about it, I talk about it with the other people there about how can you make this happen for everybody. Everybody needs this kind of mindful activity where you're breathing and you're happy and you're focused and you're creating, and you get to leave your house where the dishes and the laundry and the kids and the dogs, not the cats anymore, of course, because I have them here. But, you get that time, where it's just for you. It felt like I was stealing something, and yet it was just for me. And we all felt that way, I think.
Uh-huh. So
So,
I heard before we went on the air too, that you said that, you were so taken by this process and by the class that you did a little bit of extra research into the healing power of art or using art as therapy or something like that.
yes, yes. I was working on my master's in education. And while I was studying all of how art supports education, uh, I also researched a lot of how art and healing are connected. And you find that it's almost like when you're doing art, when you're sitting there creating, that it's like a meditation. Your breathing changes, your brain function changes, and you leave after creating and you feel good, but you don't know why you do. But that's part of the reason. And so it's like having a meditation every time you sit down to do art. And plus you're using you're connecting different neurons in your mind, in your brain function, to problem solve. There's a lot of problem solving and higher order thinking that goes along with creating art. And then you get to express yourself, and work through different feelings and emotions that you're having over different issues. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful tool to use, I think, for life.
Sure. Well, for me, you're preaching to the choir with me because of my background, which is very similar. So, Linda, I'm curious. Is it a similar kind of process or feeling that you get with poetry?
Yes, I would
Or
say
writing?
so. When
Yeah.
I'm writing, it is a kind of meditation, and it's often a way for me to discover what it was I was really feeling and thinking subconsciously. So it's extremely therapeutic, and I've had many an epiphany based upon what I've created. So and also I was a teacher, and involving my students in art was, I thought, one of the best things I could do for them in terms of their whole person, being and how they felt about themselves in life. So I'm so glad you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah. So does any of this, Barbara, carry over into, again, I'm recalling the intro, to your work with these other groups? What are you, I'm sorry, I forgot what some of the groups were, the Girl Scouts or?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it's all about art and healing and expression. We do art classes with the Girl Scouts. We do badges with them. We help them complete their badges. We'll do fun activities or nights out for them to create. We also work with the school districts. So they we go to the schools and we teach different art classes, or we'll do different activities, different projects. Over in Salida, we'll go in and work with watercolor, or we might do paint pours, and then we'll do weekly classes at other districts where we do a variety of media: printmaking, drawing, watercolor, acrylic, those kind of things with the schools.
Ah, wonderful. So just curious, how did that come about? Is this something they hire you to do, or?
They did. They reached out to us. Some of the school districts reached out to us. I mean, I sent letters in the beginning, and I didn't know. And finally, I even had the Office of Education reach out to me also and inquire about what we did and how we were doing it. And we've had field trips of students, classes come to the studio. We've done drawing from still life and painting from still life, and had them come and do different activities here that the teachers have planned. that they would like to see their students do, like say watercolor or acrylic or paint pours or even mixed media. So we've done a lot of different things, and it's exciting to see the students come in and work here in the studio where they get to play with everything. And it's a beautiful space. And then we work with the after school programs and the charter schools too. So they'll send their students here for whatever they're interested in. We offer acrylic, drawing, mixed media, watercolor, sewing. Sewing seems to be the big thing since the pandemic. They've all wanted to learn how to sew, and so it's been interesting. Yeah. So they create.
Yeah. So, wow, my head is taking this big left turn here. It has to do with the fact that schools are inviting you in to provide art experiences with their students. So what I'm thinking about right now is, what was your experience in school when you were young? Was there art available? Because I know right now, over the past several decades, there's been this gradual decline in pulling the arts out of schools. And I'm curious as to what your experience was when you were growing up, and yours too, Linda. What was your experience in schools with the arts? For you personally, was it there for you, or?
Well, for me, I had, there were some classes offered. There were some art classes offered. And I remember having to take summer school if I wanted to take art. And my mom would tell me, "Why are you going to summer school? You've been in school all year." And I'm like, I took candle making and drawing and macrame, terraria. I make everything, when I was in summer school, but not so much during the year. We'd have a few little art activities in elementary school, and in high school I was in band. So that was something, but they were starting to pull the art programs when I was younger. And then there seemed to be a long stretch where they were pulling them from the schools just to focus on reading and writing. Do you know what I mean? Language arts.
Yeah. What about you, Linda? What was your early experience?
I attended elementary school back in the 60s in Scotia, New York, and we had an art room, and the whole class would go in there once a week to do an art project taught by an art teacher. We had a gymnasium and a gym teacher, and we did that twice a week. We had a music room and a music teacher, and we did that once a week. But then our classroom teacher, especially some that I recall most fondly, would also incorporate art, music, writing in projects. It might be come up with your own tall tale and illustrate it, or write a play, so I was very, very fortunate. And I'm sorry to see there's less art now in elementary schools. And then in junior high and high school, those were electives. And I did more singing at that point and theater rather than, visual art.
Right. Yeah. See, I'm older than both of you. And, my experience, like all the way up through high school, it was almost like I was going to an arts-oriented school. They had so much to offer back then that way back in the dark ages, people actually considered the arts to be very vital for education and personal development. And like you mentioned, Linda, getting into singing and performing. We had 3 choirs, 3 bands, couple orchestras, in addition to all of the arts. It was like an arts high school. It was like, and then it all disappeared. And as with you, I'm just like, oh, gee, where did it go? That was so important to me. And how can people not expect this to be important now? So Barbara, you're one of a number of people in the community who have picked up that loss, and are, that we're going to get it in there somehow. So I'm very happy that you're doing it and that they found you.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. We're real happy to be here. And I wish more people would embrace the idea that they can just walk in and create, because we are an open art studio. So it's kind of like if you wanted to go to a just open, remember in college they'd have like open Friday where you could go in and you could work on like work that you hadn't completed during the week. You could just go in and work.
Yeah.
And that's what we are, but every day.
This might be a good time for you to give us the physical address and also the days and hours in which you're open so people can drop in.
Yeah, we're 1210 J Street. We're locked in between 12th and 13th. And we are open Tuesday through Saturday from noon until 6. And on Fridays, we're open until 9. So we open up at noon and we stay open until 9 on Fridays. And we'll see. We're going to have some special projects coming up in the fall. And I'm sorry because Batman just has decided he needs attention.
That's fine.
And so we have some special activities. So some nights, if you check the website, we'll be open later for different things. I do want to kick off that wellness portion of our studio and do a special pandemic art activity here at the studio.
Well, maybe now's a nice time to look at some of the pictures you've brought, and we can look at your facility and some of the things you did. So let's see if I can just get it here. Hey, there you are. Welcome. Let's see. Let me clear away some of this stuff here, so that there we go. Let's see. Get that away. There we go. Okay, so when we talked beforehand, you had the way we had these arranged is this is some of your early work. So
that's some of my early work.
Yeah, so we'll look at some of the things you've done, and this is
watercolor.
This picture.
Watercolor.
Okay, and the subject is just a model or someone?
Yeah, it was just a model, and it was just done in watercolor. It was one of the I could use warm colors or cool colors that time.
And about how long ago did you do this?
That was probably 20 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was one of my first ones. I'm not such a tight painter anymore.
Oh, okay. And then you wrote this one.
And that's my daughter at the beach, and that was done with colored pencils on Canson board.
That's very beautiful.
Thank you. I love doing portrait work or people. Those are my favorites.
Okay, and I believe that you said you did this in the cancer group workshop at Mislin. Is this one you did there? Yeah.
Yeah, this is one I did there. In fact, I've done this one twice. Because I gave one away as a gift. And then I was like, I need that back. So did it again.
Did you do this from memory or from a photograph?
It was a little photo I took of her that I worked from, and this little thing. So
I love it.
Thank you.
A question that I have that it brings up for me is there a purpose for this in the workshop? In other words, you've talked about art being healing. Is it just the fact that you're doing whatever art you want, or is there any kind of instructions involved as to what you pick to paint, being something personal to you or something like
Well,
that?
I always encourage people to come in and work on what they love. You know, I want to support them in doing something they love, but a lot of people I've noticed need a jumping off point. You know, they need to say, okay, well, we're going to work on flowers or animals, or we're going to work in a certain media. So I think it's harder for people to come in and just say, I love that, and I want to do this. And how can you help me? Because we support you. Well, there's always an artist here at the studio who can support you in getting you from A to B to C to create something that you want to keep forever. And so for me, I always like to do my own thing. I don't like to be, unless I want to learn a new technique, I don't want to be told, I just want to play. And for me, it's just play. And we've been doing some different things here at the studio while we play. And it's fun. It's been fun. Yeah.
And the media for this is colored pencil? Is that?
Yeah, colored pencil and Canson board. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And this is this from the Amgym?
Yes, it is. And that was taken from a photograph, but I did it in black and white. And originally it's done in charcoal pencil. And so originally the picture was bigger and I never liked it. And then I went back and I moved it. I was trying to hide it, I think, somewhere at the house. And I looked at it and I went, I like it a lot better like that. So I went back and I cut off this big piece of it. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, you know? And so that's and then it just, all of a sudden, it just worked.
Yeah. Actually, that reminds me of something that I did once it happened to be just pen and ink drawing, but I kept looking at it and thinking, you know, there's something wrong with this.
Yeah.
And I cut it in half and it was perfect. It was two perfect pictures that
right?
somehow intruded on each other.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that story. So what do we have here?
That is Paris, and that is my collie. And I started working on that after she passed. I wasn't somebody who wanted to carry her ashes around, but I love that dog like nobody's business. And so that was a healing process for me, you know?
Did you do this as part of that program or just on your own?
No, I did it at home, all on my own.
Okay.
I did it at home on my own because I just needed to.
Of course. So what do we have here?
That's one of the few oil paintings I've done. I haven't done a lot. I think I might like to explore oil painting a little bit more. It was from a photo, again, that I had taken in San Francisco of the Flower Mart. And just the woman there was in charge of the Flower Mart, and that was her husband kind of hanging out, helping around. You know what I mean? It was just this day of everything. So I enjoyed that one.
Yeah. Well, you're in the perfect place to learn something about oils, right?
Yes.
I imagine you have someone there that can teach you about oils. So.
We do.
Okay. So let's get to your.
So this is the studio. This is the studio, and that happened to be a day when I had a lot of the students come in, and we were all working on. We were working on a still life watercolor. And we had, and they got to go to each table so they'd move around and work in warm colors, cool colors, black and white, and then full color. And And at the end of that activity, they got to snack.
You got the snack. It's always
Yes.
important. Yeah. So maybe this is a point for you to retell us again about the idea for your place for Dragonfly. It's a special place. It came out of a special place in you, wanting to provide a place for artists to grow and develop and heal and learn. And so I'd like to just hear you say it all again. It's a good story.
I always meant it to be family friendly, and to have children be a part of it, because I think children really embrace art. I want adults to come in here and use the space like we intended it to be, to come in, to create, to work on their projects, to get some support when they need it, but to have that moment of just breathing and mindfulness, because when you're involved in a piece of art, that's all there is. And when you've experienced it and you walk away and you're done, you feel so good, you feel refreshed and new again and happy. And it doesn't have to be because your art was great. That I think that's really important to me, because I have a large pile of art that goes to the garbage bin. I have it. It's just, I don't keep everything.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah, I think it's important to just create, to create and to be present and to be mindful, because when you're doing art, you're right in the moment at that time. You're not thinking about anything else. You're submerged. And I think that's why art can be so healing, It's such a good activity.
Right.
And it gets you to create, it gets you to think differently.
Yes.
You think creatively. Yes. You problem solve differently. There's all kinds of problem solving when you're working on a piece of art.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned earlier too about, if members can put their work on the wall, but this is not a sales gallery per se. This is a studio gallery.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And we're part of the art walk. And so some of them we'll label them and we'll put them for sale if they want. But a lot of my pieces are not for sale because they're personal to me. But I hang them because I think people need to know that, I do work from experience. I do have a little bit of experience, and there's different kinds of things you can do in here. Pen and ink or collage or mixed media. So we have all of that here, and we have it on display.
So here's another view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like a place that, I can imagine I'd like to just hang out there.
It is a fun space. It's a fun and welcoming space. Most of the time we have some quiet music going, and people come in and create, or, and when they're tired, we have a little kitchen area. They can go heat their lunch and get a cup of coffee and come back and play some more.
Uh-huh. So how does a person become, do you have to become a member? You have to join up? Is that, how does this work?
You can do a walk-in. So you can walk in and paint anytime for $25. So you can walk in off the street, say at 1:00 in the afternoon, you got off of work early and you decided, I don't want to go home and do the dishes or the laundry, and I don't want to go sit in a movie. So I'm going to go and paint or play for a little bit. So you can do that here any day of the week for $25. As a member, you can come in for $50 a month, and we'll give you canvas, we'll give you the space. You get one canvas every month, and you get use of, all the different activities that we have. Whereas a lot of people, I apologize, I have this cough.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want to do acrylic, and we have acrylic, but we also have watercolor. We have mixed media. We have pastels. We have pen and ink. We have pencil. We have, we have so much that you can choose from. You can do collage. We have papers. There's so many things. We have gouache. There's so many things we have that you can do. And so you're not limited to just one media when you walk in here.
So you don't have to have your own supplies, it sounds like.
No, you don't. And it's like if you wanted to try out watercolor, but you didn't want to spend $100 on brushes and supplies and things like that, you could come and play with watercolor here for a while and see if you liked it. And if that's something you want, then you can build your own supplies at home, but then at least you got to test it out to see if it was something that was for you.
Do you have any poets on staff?
We don't. I wish we did.
Oh, I'm finding a job for you, Linda.
Well, thank you, David. Gosh, you're so thoughtful.
I think it would be lovely to have more poetry, more writing here,
Yeah.
I'm on the board of Modesto Stanislaus Poetry Center.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we should talk.
Yeah. But you know what? I think it would be great. Maybe we could do a prompt, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do something, and then we'll have the painters and the drawers and the doodlers all come together and create along with the poetry.
Or maybe you could offer a night of poetry writing or something.
Yeah, we can absolutely do that.
All right. I've got the wheels turning now.
There you go.
Well, we love to collaborate with different resources and people, and so
yeah, we do too.
And
sounds like marriage made in heaven.
Yeah, I want to make it an open space, that we've created where people feel happy and welcome and are able to create.
Excellent.
So what do we have here? This special project or something?
That was a night we were doing paint pours in the window. So we had it all set up with the paper down there, and we were doing paint pours right there in the window so people could pour and watch it happen. And, whoever's walking by, because I think a lot of people walk by the studio, but they don't stop.
Right. Probably intimidating.
It's a very attractive space. I mean, you've really put a lot of thought into the aesthetics and the practicality, but it is indeed, just looking at it, very welcoming and beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we like to hang our different things from the ceiling. We'll have some banners or something, festive for the season.
There we go. Yeah.
It was a busy days.
I like the concept of having snacks, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and you're welcome to bring in their snacks. And, sometimes, especially during the summer camps, I always buy a lot of snacks for the kids because they like to go in and have a snack.
Wonderful. So now we have some, tell us about some of these people that are here.
So this is my daughter and a friend who have decided to come and spend a morning paint pouring. So, and he was super excited about the process.
Okay. Paint pouring is exactly what it sounds like.
Yes, it is. It is. It's a little bit more of a pricey activity, because once we mix the paint and the media together, I can't use the paint for painting anymore. It only can be used for a pour.
Okay. This is your daughter.
Fun.
This is your daughter. Do you have any other children?
I do. I have another daughter. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Are they into arts too? The arts?
Not as much. My younger one can be quite accomplished when they want to be, but it's done as a more of a to help with stress or anxiety.
Ah,
I'll always go to that for like I send her to school with watercolors and clay and paint, and that's what she pulls out when she's had a day. Or I'll get a birthday card or a greeting card from her that's been done in watercolor.
okay. That's always an interesting question for me because a couple of my kids, when they ask, are you interested in the arts? They said, no, I grew up with an artist and we had never had any money, so I'm going to do anything that earns money. Lots of these, I want to live a different life.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, that one gave it to me too.
Yeah. Okay. There you are.
This was Good Day Sacramento came to see us. They've come a couple of times. Hopefully they'll come back for our 5-year anniversary, which is coming up this year.
Oh, are you going to have a big celebration?
We are.
So
We're going to
when
have
is
a big
that?
celebration. That will be November 15th. So we'll have a big celebration, 5 years.
Wonderful.
And how can people find out what events and classes are being offered? Where can they get this information?
If you go to the website, it's www.thedragonflyartforlife. I was super creative, right? .com. we have our paint events up, and I should be more on top of it. When you wear all the hats between Patrick and I, wearing all the hats, it's hard to keep up on the website, but we always have a paint night on Friday nights. So even if I don't have all of the paintings posted, they're coming up. And so I should be back here at the studio full time in September. And so things will be a little bit more on point.
Do you have a Facebook page as well?
We do. It's the Dragonfly AFL on Facebook and Instagram. So it's like this next Friday night, we're going to have a nice paint night with doing a village kind of painting. It's colorful and should be lots of fun. And the paint nights are $35. And you can, you come and you get instruction, and you can bring beverages or snacks with you on those nights. And it's a very lovely night to have a date or just bring a friend and come and play.
How nice.
Yeah.
And that's the cat. Can you see the little chair?
Oh, how cute.
He was playing, and we thought it was so funny that he was looking the same direction as the cats that they painted. And this was part of my after school, my charter school students. The students at Heart Ransom come out. We're also affiliated with Hickman Charter, and I would love to get on board with a couple of more schools like that, because the kids who come, they're just great and really want to create.
That's adorable.
Aren't they cute?
Yes.
And that's part of our music. The music that comes, we'll have live music and musicians come in. We even had a paint and sing in the wintertime where we were singing Christmas carols, and the kids would come with their parents, and we'd all paint like a friendly piece and sing along.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So is this a program or?
I've had Modesto Unplugged has taken care of my music, and I've been approached by a music teacher who wants to come in and start bringing his students who are, because they're spectacular, the youth, and some other professionals that he works with into the studio. So more locals, although we've had people come from all around. Oh my goodness, around the world. We had someone come from, I I think Columbia one time. They came all the way and were doing a tour and ended up stopping here, of all places.
Wow.
So Modesto Unplugged really, really looks after their musicians and tries to bring them in. And I feel bad that more people didn't attend as well as we had hoped for some of them because they were spectacular.
So is this something that you advertise and you sell admission to come in and listen?
Yeah, usually it's typically it's just $10 at the door if you want to come in and just listen to the music. You can, paint a rock if you want for another, $5, and or you can sit and do a paint and sip for the 35.
Ah, okay. We have all this information. I should probably find some way of putting this up here for people. So let's see what I can do here. Maybe I can
the comments.
Well, let me see. Dragonfly, Art for Life. So what is your website address? Maybe
it's the Dragonfly Art for Life.
Okay.
I feel guilty for saying it, but it was 6 years ago I dreamt that one up.
Actually, I think that's really a good idea. It's easier to remember.
And that's .com. I'll be able to work more on the website and activities and things like that as soon as I'm here full time, but I am I'm working on it.
Okay, I'm having trouble getting, I don't know if I can get any more. I can't get any more information on that. I was trying to put it up there so that should have done this ahead of time, I guess.
Fortunately, there's Google.
Yes.
Oops,
that's not it.
That's a poet's
Yes,
book.
and you can find us on Google
There
and
you go.
Google search.
There you go. And so people can just go to Dragonfly Art for Life, and all that information will be there then. That's good.
There you go. Thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Okay. So onward. A few more pictures here. Oops, what happened?
That was they had a paint pouring event upstairs, and everyone got to play. And that was their final large painting they did all together, but everyone up there did their own also.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Then we have a few more here. Let's see, what do we have here?
These are artists. Yeah, these are artists at the studio who hang their work. So these are members at the studio.
Okay. So if I came there and painted something, then I could be included in this slideshow, right?
You could, absolutely.
There you go. Is there anything to say specifically about any of these, except that they're members?
They're members. They come from a lot of different backgrounds, so there's a lot of different styles going on here, which is just, I have young people coming to paint like this one, and then I have others who come in and paint and paint and paint just beautiful, beautiful items. And I have some really unique styles, I think, come through here, and so that's been fun.
Yeah.
It's nice to see people coming in and creating what they want.
So tell us about some of the people who are members or who come in. The reason I'm saying that, I'm asking that is, as I look around the community, I'm of course attached to Michelin Gallery, and so we have that group of artists. And then
Mm-hmm.
at the other gallery, main gallery in town over at Chartreuse Muse, they have their group of artists. And so, but I know there's a lot more artists out in the community than are represented by these groups. And so I'm always curious as to who these people are and where they are and what do they need. You know, you're providing one of the things, which is studio space, but I mean, in terms of publicity, in terms of saying, look, we're here, and for me as an outsider, how can I see your work? You know, where is it displayed anywhere? Is it?
Well,
So
for artists who come in here and work who are members, then they, you know, we display their work here, and then we have artists, I think, who come in, who just come in for the healing kind of portion of it, which is, you know, I want to do a mindful activity. I want to create. I want to spend some time with, I have one member here who comes in and spends her time with her daughter, and they work together. They both do their own style of work, but it has become a real connecting kind of piece for them to come and both do an activity that they enjoy. And then I have others who just the need to express themselves, like this artist right here, and others who come in and, you know, they want to build their art and create more. And so, you know, they create here and we hang their pieces, and it's become a nice kind of mesh of just everyday people, artists who come in and create. And we always want to try something new.
okay. Yeah, the reason again that I was asking is that you focus on the very vital part of art, which is the healing and including it in your life, you know, development. And I was just wondering if any of the people who come through are looking for something more in terms of exhibiting their art or selling their art or anything like that. Does that ever come up, let's say, for some of the people who come into your place?
Yeah, some of them, you know, they price their work and they want to sell it. And we are, in fact, changing the studio some, in the sense that we had a crafting studio in the back who just got their own space. So now what's happening is we're going to turn that area into like a gift shop kind of thing. So we'll have more art for sale, more, you know, prints, or sometimes they make stickers or prints and things. It's like, and like Patrick does some really amazing work, and he's done maps, and he does maps for like Camp Taylor just asked him to come out there and do a map of their facility, and it was just really beautifully done. And he's done prints, and he does a lot with digital right now. He's been playing a lot in digital, and then he's been doing some lino cut. And so there's a lot of different things that we're doing, and yeah, they want to sell some things, but it's not the motivating factor, I don't think, here.
Okay.
Do you offer classes in digital art?
Yes, we offer classes. I'm sorry if I forgot that, because I have so much and I have a lot of tabs open. We have classes in digital art and animation.
Oh,
so
cool.
and it's just working with the iPad, you know, an iPad and a stylus, and you can create that. So it's been really great, and you know, we have a lot of adults and students coming in wanting to learn more.
Do they have to bring their own iPad, or are there some
Yes,
there?
they do. They do need to bring their own iPad, and in a perfect world, they're going to have a stylus that goes with it, so they can draw right into the program. The program itself is only $10, so it's not expensive, but you can do some amazing things with it.
That's great.
That's a group of us after.
Whoa,
after
what happened here? Come on.
Yeah, that was a group of us after we had the Good Day Sacramento come.
Ah, I think it's a great place to end up, because this seems to be representative of what you're after.
Yes.
You know, these, yeah, people coming together and doing their art, and yeah, this is your family.
This is this is my family, and it's my these were all artists and people here, part of the community that came together. They were all members, and I met here through the studio.
How many art teachers do you have?
Right now we have 3, including myself. I teach, and Patrick teaches, and I have another teacher who comes in to do the paint nights for me.
Well, wow. I've learned a lot about something that's been in our community that I've walked past many times. And it's nice to hear about all the wonderful things that are going on. And
thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for creating this space.
Yes.
It's absolutely wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful addition to our community. I mean, it really is. It's something that, it's unique. I mean, there are other places that have art classes and, other art galleries, but this is a very unique place.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
So
I like the fact that it's so inviting. So people who never considered themselves maybe particularly artistic and hadn't taken classes in college and hadn't considered this as a career, feel free to come in, experiment, play, express themselves. And especially I'm thinking of young people and people that have jobs. And I mean, as David said, this is a really important part of our community. Thank you so much for providing that.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy that we're still here. And
yes.
I'm looking forward to many years of being here and creating and building community. You know, I really want to be a part of the community and to make a difference, so that people can come in and relax and shake it off for a minute, or come in and connect. I think it's so important.
Yes. So is, I forgot your cat's name, Batman or Bat something?
Batman.
Is he there?
Yeah, he's on the floor swishing his tail right now. I'm not sure what he's after, but if Patrick calls him the dumpster cat, so you might hear it.
Okay.
A couple of ways. He made many a card. I go, you need to be respectful of the cat because he's sold you a lot of little stuff.
That's great. Well, we're nearing the point to wind it all up, and I was just wanting to make sure we could say goodbye to him too, if he was there. So
Batman.
Oh, like all cats, he comes when he's called, right?
Yeah. He gave me a look. He's at the front window now, wanting to check out who's out there. He tried to jump through it one time when there was a dog sitting out front, and I'm like,
ooh. Oh my gosh.
So anyway, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Enjoyed it and hearing about this.
It was a real pleasure talking with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, well, we'll
right.
say goodbye then.
Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.
End the broadcast here.